Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be talking about who won the Jake Bates versus Brandon Aubrey NFL game this past weekend. Now, for those of you who don't know why this is such a big deal, this is the first real mega matchup in the ultra-modern spring football era. As well, we have seen spring football matchups of the kicker position before, we have never seen two ultra-modern kickers go head-to-head. Now, of course, this was also a massive matchup itself between the Cowboys and the Lions, so we're going to be talking about that as well. Now, first and foremost is the idea this is the first time two spring football kickers go head-to-head in the NFL. Yeah, that's just not true, depending on how you judge it. If you just judge it by spring football kickers, then this is obviously not true, as Younghoe Koo and Nick Folk have played against each other on two separate occasions. Once in 2021 while Nick Folk was a member of the Patriots, and then once when he was a member of the Titans last year. So, that's not really true. Now, if your definition is the ultra-modern spring football era, which only dates back to 2022's USFL, then it's true. Or if your definition is guys that have never been an active roster member, as both Folk and Younghoe Koo, well, Folk mainly was, an actual kicker in the NFL. But overall, not really the first time, but it is the first time for the leagues that the UFL recognizes, which are the XFL and USFL, obviously. So it's a big deal. Now, as for the game itself, the Lions just absolutely dunked on Dallas. I mean, this was Jerry Jones' birthday, and the gift the Cowboys gave him was a horrid game. This is another instance of the why is Dak Prescott paid $60 million game file, I guess you can say. Dak looked terrible. He had a 42 passer rating and a god-awful 11 QBR, which, for those of you who don't know QBR that well, if you have anything under like 25, you were horrid. Dak was terrible. And the Lions just dunked on him. I mean, they did a bunch of joking plays. They were throwing passes to offensive linemen, doing like a bunch of pitches and everything. They didn't even try, and they annihilated Dallas. Dallas had like 4 turnovers, or 5 turnovers actually. It was bad. It was horrific. So, Detroit won. But who won the kicker battle, which is, of course, a big deal? As for the kicker battle, when you look at it, this was honestly a good game for both guys. Look, Brandon Aubrey was the only guy putting up any points for Dallas, as once again he was proving to be the best player on Dallas's roster. He made all 3 of his field goals. I know people have been, questioning his ability the past couple weeks because, he had that blocked kick that probably would have still missed and all that. The fact is Aubrey is still the best player on Dallas, and it's by a pretty wide margin at this point, which, admittedly, CeeDee Lamb is kind of stuck in that area if he doesn't really have a good quarterback throwing it to him, despite the fact that Dak is paid $60 million. We all know Dak really isn't that guy, but somehow got paid because of Jerry Jones. But the point is, Brandon Aubrey is the number 1 fantasy kicker. Obviously, he scored like 82 points. But this past week, he made 3 for 3 in field goals, including one from all the 3 main, distances, 30+, 40+, and 50+. So he is definitely back as being that number 1 guy. He was the only guy in Dallas that scored any points. As for Jake Bates, my God. Look, I know fantasy is not for everyone, but a kicker scoring 19 points is pretty damn incredible. And he overall went 9 of 9 on total kicks. He made 4 field goals and 5 extra points. And what's most impressive is the fact that, we'll get to in a second, is that he was kicking field goals he had never kicked in the NFL before in terms of distance. And again, 9 for 9 on kicks is an absolutely extraordinary performance. When you look at it overall, though, some of his kicks were a bit questionable. He was having to use a lot of the uprights, as some people would say, to make some of those kicks, and especially one of them was really close to being a miss, arguably could have been. He wasn't necessarily like, it wasn't beautiful kicking. It wasn't kicking it right down the uprights. It was, using the whole area that you could instead of, trying to kick it in the middle. The end of the day, though, they still went in. It's just, there were kicks that, had it been like another 10 yards, probably would have missed because it would have been left or right. But overall, still a solid performance. Overall, though, Jake Bates easily won this matchup. Look, Jake Bates, when you look at his season, not counting the Dallas game, had missed an extra point and had been perfect from field goals, but had never kicked a kick that was 40+. He kicked 2 of them in this game. He had never kicked a 40-yarder in the NFL. He had kicked, of course, he kicked the 60-yarders in the UFL, but in an NFL game, he had never kicked a distance kick, and it was a huge question Lions fans had about how much trust the team had in Bates. And, well, it was rewarded. Again, were they perfect kicks? Were they beautiful down the center? No. But they still were legit distance field goals. They were 40+ yard field goals, including a 48-yarder, and he made them all. The fact is, when you have a kicker that can go 9 for 9 on a given day, that's a really good thing to have. The fact is, this was a great game for him. Again, he legitimately came close to matching his season totals on field goals in one game. He had only made 5 field goals of the 5 he attempted, obviously, throughout the season. He made 4 in one game. His 9 kicks is just, I mean, it was incredible. It's easy to say that he had the best game between the two of them. Brandon Aubrey, again, issues because of the fact that, his team wasn't really good in offense. And the fact is, Bates could have even gotten more kicks. Like, late in the game, they could have kicked a field goal and make it 50. But again, like I was talking about earlier, where they were just kind of toying with Dallas, they went for it in 4th down. But, I mean, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm really happy about this. Now, yes, prayers up for Aiden Hutchinson and that awful-looking leg injury. But if I'm a Detroit fan, I mean, I'm ecstatic. We just, if I'm viewing it as a Detroit fan, you annihilated Dallas. You didn't just beat them. You pantsed them in their home stadium on Jerry's birthday. You made Dak look horrific. Their offense was terrible. And you just bullied their defense the whole game. I mean, look, McCarthy probably won't get fired. They'll just, Jerry will just let him walk after the season. But if Jerry was going to fire him, it would be after this game. So, big ups to the Lions, big ups to Jake Bates. But that'll do it. This has been Zom Fox. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified as soon as I upload any videos. We are doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting closer and closer to the big 900 milestone. So it'll be nice to help me out there. We are also have community memberships available for 99 cents a month as the lowest tier. You get exclusive emojis, exclusive community member posts, as well as an exclusive members-only video every month. And as always, guys, have a great night.